So yo dudes, LivePortrait has come out with some really cool updates to their application. Already fantastic application, made some really necessary changes that really make this probably about one of my favorite apps there is to use. And so I'm going to show you how to update your pre-existing installation. If you've already installed it, we'll cover that. If you haven't, I have the video over yonder that you can watch. And but otherwise, I'm going to show you just kind of how to, without having to go through the whole installation thing, get it updated, get it refreshed, get it all going so that you can be making some cool stuff. But first, please go ahead and like the channel and share it, because we're really trying to get this out to the community. And the more people that are involved in this, it's the better. So you are doing yeoman's work by sharing this video and liking this channel. Pat yourself on the back. Good job. I'm going to shake your hand. Congratulations. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on with the refresh here. So, all right, so as I said, we have the LivePortrait over here. So you can see essentially what we can do is we can take a still image. This image was created using the new Flux model. If you want to know more about generating with Flux, go ahead and check out my other videos. You can also go over to the Patreon site that I have, and you can download a real easy installer with this. My favorite is using SD-Forge. But anyway, generated this. This is just using my webcam here, so you can see I'm just making some faces. And then we go down here, and you can see that it changes up the video. Okay, very cool stuff. His eyes open and close according to the thing. Now they've added a new feature in here, which is it semi-works using animal photos. So same thing up here. I just kind of made some faces. Now you don't have to use your webcam. You could use a video of someone doing some stuff too, but webcam is easier for me with what I'm doing. And you can see it goes ahead and does it. Now, one of the upgrades that they have done with this is that they have blended the sound with the video. When this application first came out, it would not copy the sound from your source, or your source file, okay? And you would get the voice moving, or the face moving, but without voice, and then you had to use some external tools to extract the audio and then put it back together with the video. And it wasn't a big deal. I'd made some tools for you to use, but they fixed it. So now you're able to do stuff. This is one of the main reasons I use LivePortrait, is to promote my music. I have a music company called Jim Day and the Better Stories. I write my own music and put it to music, and here's how one of the things we're able to do with LivePortrait. Again, this model created by Flux. See, that's very good, isn't it? Okay, there's a little bit of stuff going on with the hat, but you can see how this could be used to promote something like the music. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so there you go. That's kind of some good application of how to use LivePortrait. If you are interested in my music, just go check it out at daysinging.com. That's not like night singing, but day singing, and you can find out more of that. But anyway, let's move on with this. Let's go ahead and go to the internet. And so this is really easy to refresh. Again, we're not going to go through the full install. I'm just going to show you how to update what we already got. But to get here, you just go to your internet and you type LivePortrait GitHub. Yo. Okay, so it's going to pop up this one, Quai VGI. Just click it, and there you have it. Okay, the installations is really simple. Simple-ish. You got to download some models. Again, my one-click over here goes ahead and will take care of all the downloads for you if you just want to get going fast. But really nothing has changed. You just got to make sure you have, of course, your Python, your mini conda installed. You're going to need your FFmpeg. Guys, these are the basics. So when you're getting into this stuff, you really shouldn't be trying to install stuff if you haven't done your initial AI setup. So watch my video on how to do your AI setup. You got to have Python, you got to have mini conda, you got to have FFmpeg. Okay, a lot of these things you got to have CMake installed. You know, you've got to have your, if you're using NVIDIA, you've got to have your CUDA toolkit installed. So a lot of problems that you have with installs come down to just that your system ain't set up right. Okay, and it's going to make it, it's like smooth sailing once you get that done. But anyway, okay, popping ahead here, you're going to see the installation's fairly similar. You're just going to git clone something into your directory. You create the environment. So important to create a virtual environment, guys, because you don't want to be polluting your base environment. It's like putting a tarp over a table before you start working with paints. That way, if paint gets off of the workplace, it ain't going to get on the table. In the same way, when we're installing stuff, we can end up installing stuff onto our base computer environment that can mess up everything. And then later on, you have to reinstall Windows or whatever because you know, it's all gummed up. So base environment, okay? It doesn't mention in here that you need to make sure to install your CUDA toolkit. Now you've got your CUDA drivers, which you download off the internet. You know, you could do something like this: NVIDIA CUDA download, and you know, and you go to your website here. You actually want to get the 11.8, but this is different. The CUDA toolkit is different. This is your driver here. Okay, when you're installing your CUDA toolkit, that's like it's like saying CUDA's installed now, here's the tools on how to access it. So every time you create a virtual environment, you need to install that. And these GitHub directory instructions don't always mention that, but I'm just mentioning it. You can still follow my other installation. And anyway, so you go through here, all this, but okay, neither here nor here. There's the ones you're gonna have to download, but neither here nor there. What we want to do is we just want to upgrade what we've already done. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop on over to our file explorer where we installed this. Now I installed it here under image LivePortrait. Now I created a little refresh underscore app.bat thing that basically what it's going to do is it's going to remove the virtual environment that was created before, going to recreate the virtual environment, and then it's going to download the new file. So if you want to get this, you can just head again over to my Patreon site, and it will be here. You just go to member software, and you'll find it here under LivePortrait. There's a refresh bat. Okay, but you don't have to do that because it's pretty simple. All you got to do is we're going to just right click on here and go to your open terminal, or just go directly to your terminal. And what we're going to do is drill our way into the folder. So let's go CD image. That's where I put mine. Then I'm going to go CD live portrait. That puts me in the directory. Okay. So now what we want to do is, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall the existing environment. Okay. And this just helps because what it there might be different requirements that they want, and what will happen is if you're running off your old environments, there might be something cached, it might be in there, it doesn't really replace it, and then your software don't work. So it's always good to just start fresh. It's really not that difficult. So what we do is you click this, okay, conda remove. So conda is the command of the virtual environment. Remove is telling you what we want to do is we want to remove an environment. We're given a parameter -- name. So we're saying what's the name of the thing we want to remove? Well, the name is LivePortrait. And then we go -- all means we want all of it removed, not just one package, not just one thing. Then we could also just put a -y. Okay, and that means we're not going to have to prompt. It's going to say, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And you press yes. This is going to do it automatically for you. Now I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, but that's what you would do. It would uninstall it. Okay, then you make sure you're in your LivePortrait. Now this is all you got to do. You're going to type git pull. So what this does is it's going to go hit the GitHub repository, and then it's going to pull down all the new files. So you'll press this. Okay, now. Okay, hold on. I'm not in the right directory. I got to go one more in. Okay, so now we'll type, I want to clear the screen, CLS. Now if we type git pull, okay, Mine's already up to date, but what yours will do is it'll show a series of files that come down and have like some pluses and minuses showing what's being removed, what's being added. And so it's updating your repository. Okay, so then when that's done, all you got to do is reinstall the app. Okay, so that's where you're going to need to go back to the instructions of how we did. I guess we could walk through it here real quick since it's there. Let's just walk through this really quick. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get back to our screen. Okay, so if you got the one-click installer, at this point all you would do is you would just click it and it would just do everything for you. But if you're doing this by hand, here's what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to go back in here. We talked about this a little bit. We're just going to copy this. So we don't have to git clone. We've already git cloned. Okay, we already did the portrait. So then what we got to do is recreate the environment. Okay, so you would copy this, go back over to here, and you'd paste it in. So then it would recreate the virtual environment. Then we're going to go back here, okay, and you have to activate it. Okay, no good. You buy a tarp to keep your table clean. It's no good unless you open it up and use it. So same way, we have to activate the environment. So you would paste it, okay, and then you notice it brings this up here, which lets you know that you're in the environment. If you don't see this over here, you're not in the environment. All right, so then we go back. Now, this is where I was telling you about, okay, this is actually a good step. Before we do that, it says nvcc-v. A lot of problems people have is that they don't actually have the CUDA installed. So go in here and type nvcc-version, okay, and it should pop up and show you the version of your driver and all that. If it says it can't be found, then your CUDA is not set up correctly, and you need to watch my video on how to get it installed. You have to set it up in the environmental variables on your computer. It's really easy, but you have to do it. If you're not doing that, that is the reason why your software is not working. Okay, you're going to get like torch not installed with CUDA errors. You're going to get CUDA not found errors, and you're going to be banging your head because it's not working. NVCC-version. Okay, NVCC-. Paste it on your hand so you can look at it. Tattoo it right there so you can be all bap. Okay, that's how you know if stuff's working. If things ain't working, try that, and that will confirm a lot. Okay, so going back here, we see that's installed. Now, one of the things, look at what they did. They're jumping straight to installing Torch, which is great, and they've got it set up for us so that we don't have to go online to get the correct command, but they're not installing the CUDA toolkit. So, first thing you got to do, okay, is to type conda. Let's get this out of the way here so you can see. Hold on. Okay. First thing you got to do is type conda install -c. So we're calling the conda virtual environment. It's saying, what do we want to do? We want to install. We're using this -c, which means we want to use a particular catalog, right? So if I want to order something from Macy's, I get the Macy's catalog. If I want something from JCPenney's, I'm getting the JCPenney's catalog, which is aging me, by the way. I don't even know if those stores exist no longer, but you're getting the catalog for the different thing. What we want is the NVIDIA catalog, okay? And we're going to say, hey, we're going to order out of here, and we're going to get the CUDA toolkit. And then since we have 11.8, we're going to choose this one. If you have CUDA 12, then you'll put that version in there. Okay. Then we could go ahead and put a -y again so it don't prompt us. And it's going to go, mine's going to say it's already installed. Okay. But it's going to go find it. We're just waiting. Conda is a notoriously slow software. Oh, it didn't have it installed. Interesting. Okay, so look at that. So I wasn't even utilizing that correctly on mine. So that's going to go ahead and install. Okay, now when it's done, then you go back over to here. Oh, where we go? Oh, I had got myself confused there. Okay, we're going to grab this for CUDA 11.8. So you just highlight it, copy it. Now we're checking, making sure we are in the environment. Let me make this a little smaller so you can make sure we don't run out of screen here. Okay, so you just paste that in there. I'm not going to do this again, but it's going to install your torch. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make these screens a little bit better. All right, so you would do that. Then we would pop back over to here. See what the next instruction is. Okay, there we go. Pip install -r requirements. So go back to here, paste this in. And what this is telling us is now we're using the pip package. It's the Python package installer. Before we were using the conda package installer. Now we're going to use the Python installer. It's okay. They work together. They're smart like that. Okay. Some things you can get through pip. Some things you have to get through conda. That's why they work together, and that's why we use them differently for different times. Like you cannot use pip to get the CUDA toolkit. Okay. So what it's saying, we're saying Python package installer. What do we want it to do? We want it to install. What do we want it to install? Well, we're going to give it -r, which means we want it to read from a file. What's the name of the file? Requirements.txt. So you click it. It's going to go through a whole litany of stuff that it downloads. Okay, and as long as everything downloads okay, we move on. Okay. Now look at here. You can see if you're on a Mac, you can actually follow the instructions for installing this on a Mac. Very cool. All right, now here's the part where you're going to have to get into doing weights. Now here we can install this directly from Hugging Face. Now Hugging Face, as I've shown you before, is a repository for different models, data sets. Oh, whoops, I spelled it wrong. Hugging Face. Okay, and so you can get them from here. Now the thing is, what this is going to have us do is download the models directly from Hugging Face. Okay, but to do this, if you're going to use it this way, you have to have an account, and you have to log in. And then once you're logged in, you got to go over to settings. You got to go to access tokens. You got to create an access token, and then you've got to plug it in to. Oh shit! Where are we? Hold on. You got to plug it in to the terminal when it asks you for it. So that's kind of a pain in the butt way. It's a good way if you're in the scene and you know how to use it, but most people don't know how to do that. You don't want to set up a thing. So here's what you can do is actually go to this Google Drive. Okay, so you click there, and then you can actually just download the files from there, and it should be showing us where they go. Let's see here. Alternately, you can download all pre-trained weights and place them in the pre-trained weights folder. So that would be over here. When we're in our LivePortrait, you would see pre-trained weights, and then you've got to make sure that they're like that. So you can do that manually. All right. Again, that's one of the nice things about using hold on, where's it at? That's one of the nice things about using this one click over here is that this is going to take care of all of it for you, so you don't have to sit there and worry about which folder is it in, am I getting it right. Typically you have to download these one at a time. The one click, you just click it, and it's going to bring them down for you and get you going. Okay, but now moving back, assuming that that is all done and downloaded, we are in the business of being able to run this thing. So we go back to our Windows Explorer, go to the front of our thing. Now I've gone ahead and again, what you want to do is you want to run this. To run the application, you would have to, these things are all in the way of each other, sorry. You would have to go back to your terminal, and if we type dir /star.py, that means show me the directory of every file that ends with a py, okay, as a file extension, and we would see that we've got app. So what we would do is we would just type python app.py. Okay, so that's how you run the thing. Now I went ahead and created for myself here a bat file, okay, that's just called run LivePortrait. So to do that, all you got to do is create a file, name it .bat, and then in there have it type. You would type cd --. Let's see here. You go like this. You click. Yeah, hell. Let's go back over here real quick. What we do is we would go cd ... to get us back to the front of the directory. ... means go back one file. So then I could type notepad run.bat. Okay, what that's going to do is it's going to say, do you want to create a new file? And you press yes. Then it's going to open up this screen here. Hold on just one moment. Okay, so it opened up this. Then all you'd have to do is type cd LivePortrait. That's going to put us in the portrait. Then you would type your, you'd have to activate. You say activate LivePortrait, so that, because you got to remember to activate your virtual environment. And then you would type Python app.py. So what a bat file does is it just runs terminal commands for you. So you would save this, go File, Save, or you can press Control S. Then you go back to, well, you go back to here. Let's see. Okay, and what you would notice is that we have now created a run.bat file. So if you go ahead and click that, it's going to go ahead and load your application. Okay, you could also load it from the command line here as well. Okay, actually I do want to show you one quick change here that we need to make. Let's go back to where we had created our bat file. One thing, when you're activating the thing, you need to use the word call. I had forgotten that. That makes sure that it calls it within inside the parameters of where we're working, because sometimes it'll call it outside of the file that we're doing, and then when you come back to your thing, it's not going. So you just add the word call. You don't need it there, but just under there, and then this will run. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of it. Let's get back to our browser here. So that's pretty much the gist of it. It'll load this up. Then you can go ahead, add your image, add your source file. You can play with the parameters here. So expression friendly, so that it handles the face well. Pose friendly. This can be used because a lot of times when you're using this, if you move forward at all, the face of the portrait will glitch. They really fixed up a lot of this kind of stuff. And down here is kind of cool, the retargeting stuff. So you could really, this is more than I need, but you could really freak out with this app and make things very precise. Okay, this is kind of cool. The retargeting image is nice. Like if the eyes aren't opening enough, you can open them more. I mean, you could make them exaggerated huge if you want. And the same with the mouth. So anyways, you can play with all this. We have basically the steps we took was we refreshed the app. We removed the environment. Okay, we recreated the virtual environment. We git pulled the repository. So if you already had downloaded the models, you don't have to download them again. If you're doing it fresh, we went through how to get all of that. And then we just reinstalled, and then we created a bat file so that it runs easy for us, okay? And then again, if you've already installed this through the one click over here, all you have to do, guys, is just download the refresh button, download the new installer, and then just hit refresh and then hit the installer. So that's for people that have already installed it, or people who don't want to go through the steps that we just went through. You can get this over on patreon.com/cognibuild. Okay, so there I've given you though both ways to do this, and get out there, make some cool stuff, and share it with me. I would love to see what you're working on. Okay, come over to the Discord and be like, yo, what's up, I made this, splat, and we'll all be like, whoa, what's up, that's cool, right? So I don't know if we'll be like that, but we'll certainly give you props for the good stuff that you're creating, and we do want to see it. So you hang in there, enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, we'll see you the next time. Yo.